Also 10:35.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yes.
I've already got 4 or 5 expected. Yeah, as long as I can do that, I'm not
Yeah, I might stick my bag.
And I'm walking back.
Come over this way, mate. Move over.
I think we might get started. Good morning. Good morning, colleagues. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Terry Garwood, Local Infrastructure, but I think most of you know me. As well, welcome to staff who are watching through YouTube as well. And on behalf of you all, on behalf of DELWP, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land where we're meeting, the Wurundjeri people, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. And we have Uncle Colin Hunter here, who will welcome the country in a moment. It's also my absolute pleasure to welcome you all here to this event to, if you like, help to launch National Reconciliation Week 2017. We're also thrilled to have with us the Honourable Natalie Hutchins, Minister for Aboriginal Affairs, Minister for Local Government, here with us today. Natalie, thank you very much for coming. I know it's been an incredibly last few days, especially for you in the lead up to Reconciliation Week. Minister, I've got news for you, it's going to continue unabated. This year, National Reconciliation Week really has our colleagues added significance as it marks two important milestones. 50 years since the 1967 referendum, the most successful referendum that's ever been held in our country. It's also 25 years since the historic Mabo decision of the High Court, where our best legal brains did what our politicians couldn't do. And our best legal brains overturned that legal fiction of terra nullius. And so the country continues on its journey. But I think I should also acknowledge that this year is also the 20th anniversary of the Stolen Generations Bringing Them Home report, as well the 10th anniversary of the Victorian Aboriginal Heritage Council. The Minister was out last week. So this year, this Reconciliation Week is truly a year of important anniversaries. And those anniversaries are anniversaries that have changed our country for the better, colleagues. The referendum was, at its very core, the 1967 referendum, at its very core, I believe, was a statement of inclusion. Of Aboriginal people and Indigenous people in Australia's body politic, resoundingly endorsed by over 90% of Australia's adult population. The Mabo decision, as I said, the Mabo decision of the High Court overturning terra think it's fitting then that the theme for this year, let's take the next steps. Let's take the next steps. It reminds us all that big changes, colleagues, big changes take persistence and they take courage. So it was with the referendum, and so it was with the High Court's Mabo decision. And now it is with last week's historic Uluru Statement from the Heart, outlining what Aboriginal people want to see in constitutional recognition. And it will be in one way or another, colleagues, addressed in a further referendum that will be put to the Australian people sometime in the near future. But I quote Rachel Perkins, who wrote in today's Australian. The Uluru Statement from the Heart is a historic consensus from the First Nations. This is the beginning of pragmatic and principled change for the benefit of all Australians. We should pause and savour the moment. And so we should. And so we should. So, this week is really, I think, a perfect opportunity to celebrate the progress that all of us colleagues are making here in DELWP as we work on Munganungataba, our Aboriginal Inclusion Plan. So this morning on this path of inclusion and change, we'll hear about the great work that we're doing in partnership with Aboriginal communities to reflect traditional values and how we manage land and water, and how we work to create employment opportunities on country to support our Indigenous staff members. And to formally start this morning's event, I'd like to now welcome Uncle Colin Hunter, or Ranger Elder, country, one of many that he will be doing over this week. Would you please join me in welcoming Colin Hunter?
Thanks, Terry. Look, firstly, I want to start off by acknowledging that this morning we are making on the land of my ancestors, the Wurundjeri people, and I want to take this opportunity to pay my respects to my elders, both past and present, elders from all nations, but I want to pay my respects to our elders this morning. But as always, I always like to acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us this morning. But I'd also like to acknowledge you, Minister Aboriginal Affairs and Local Government. Woman Gentle, welcome. Wurundjeri Mulling, the Yamakon's there. The Wurundjeri people welcome everyone to Landscape. Wurundjeri, no, good and war, Connie, no, do it, and big follow for China. The Wurundjeri people want to look after and protect the land as they've done before. Wurundjeri country extends from the city of Melbourne. It's across the mountains of the Great Dividing Range, west of the Werribee River, south to the Moriana Creek, and east out to Waterloo. And the Wurundjeri people are part of the Kulin Nation and other Wurrung language groups. Hello, my name is Colin Hunter Jr. or Blue. I'm an apostle. A name given to me by my grandmother's young boy. I'm a proud and passionate second-generation Wurundjeri man and a direct descendant of Imogen, who was known better or headed the tribe at the time of their settlement. And it's through my grandmother, Gunfire, Granny White Dove, Granny Tiny, and Nana, she was known to us for, that I got Aboriginal culture and heritage in my life today, so without us thanks now. My grandmother was one of the last living people born in the early 1920s, up at Coronado, Michigan, Hillsville, before she got pushed up the barrel on the river in the South Wales. In Aboriginal culture, a great deal of respect is given to the land, the plants and animals alike. I've got my beautiful grandmothers down there. If you get an opportunity during the morning as you're walking around, just take an ice cream for the common place. The significance as will keep you safe in our country and give you access to the resources of our country. Royal Wurundjeri country, we welcome to the traditional lands and waterways of the Wurundjeri people. So welcome, Jacob, welcome. Look, I must apologise because I do have to start off. This will be number 2 for the morning. I'm going to get the things right. I think I'm going to try. But yeah, look, I just want to say enjoy National Reconciliation Week and just have a nice week. Thank you.
Okay, thank you again, Colin, for doing that. Welcome to the country. Really appreciate it. I'm just So I'd now like to invite the Secretary of the Department, Adam Fennessy, to introduce the Minister, and Adam will also speak after the Minister. Would you please welcome the Secretary, Adam?
Thanks, Barry. Thanks, everyone. I also want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we're meeting here. Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and future, and particularly with DELWP, where we are caring for the country with our Aboriginal partners, colleagues, and friends across the state and indeed across the country. I think it's really important to think about our future traditional owner leaders as well, past and present. I'm going to say two things today. Firstly, very briefly and also from the heart, for me, one of the most important things I've done in my public service is to work on reconciliation, partnership, and on parts of treating Aboriginal people, the first nations of this country. And in particular, Mungan Gadiba has been a very important priority for me because that makes real what we talk about. And Mungan Gadiba, which is Taingerol language to achieve together, that will start to succeed when we are achieving together and when we are seeing our landscape with Aboriginal communities and some of the things that we are seeing and have really built on the success of many people's work for many years is our traditional owner settlement agreements starting to really develop and unfold with partners across the state like the Gunai Kona people with Jakarta, the Women's Mara and many others. How we work together on things like traditional fire management and land management, how we give life to economic opportunities, and particularly the $10 million we're now investing through the state government in water framework with Aboriginal people. And I know some of you, or a person who is well known to you all, Travis Love is up in Victoria today, he could be here today, sitting on interview panels to interview Aboriginal Victorians to join our Capture Management Authority board. We have our first Victorian Environment Water Holder Aboriginal Commissioner. They're the sorts of things that really make tangible what we're trying to do, and that's the sort of working together that ultimately leads to determination and treaty and respect and partners in rights. So that to me has been one of the most proud achievements, and also we are now setting up our Aboriginal inclusion unit in our Fire Regions team. That also institutionalises what we're trying to do across so many different areas of DELWP that have a strong focus on land, traditional settlement frameworks, fire management, water, Aboriginal heritage, Aboriginal archaeology. There's so many different things that we do in DELWP. So that's the first thing. And the second thing I'd like to do before I introduce the Minister is I'll be very honest here, this is an indulgence. I wanted to just read a few words from a beautiful Aboriginal poet, Kevin Gilbert, who some of you will know of. He was an Aboriginal activist, a very passionate leader, who passed away many years ago. Before he left this world, he left us a beautiful poem. And years ago, I did the Crown Lana leadership program, and that program looks at wisdom and insight over centuries and millennia, starting with the ancient Greeks all the way up to contemporary philosophers. And in the compendium of reading, probably the readings that made the biggest impact on me were these poems from Kevin Gilbert, an Aboriginal Australian, and particularly at the time, I think I just started with DSB, Department of Sustainability and Environment, and these were all about land, caring for country, and also recognising injustices and justice. So I'm going to read this short poem and then I'm going to introduce it. The poem's called The Black Side. It's good to be the black side, for we know that in this land, the fire-hardened trees survive, where others, yew and poplars and the fir and mighty oak, have never quite adapted to the heat and fire and smoke. It's good to be the black side, fitting in with nature's plan, where she selected colour for this masterpiece of land, and blended it superbly with strokes of loving care. For each country has its colour, stark and strong and naked bare. It's good to be the black side, even though externals change. We, tallow, wood and ironbark, are native. That's our point. Imported trees are alien, and the fairest English grow, even after generations, still remains a luminous road. It's good to be the black side when there's justice on our side, empowered by the spirit and a firm and humble pride. And being on the black side is nature and her light. The black side is the right side, for this land the colours bright. So that's Kevin Gilbert. I'd now like to introduce Minister Natalie Hutchins. I think we are very privileged in DELWP to have such a wonderful minister. And yes, you are our DELWP Minister for Local Government. The fact that you are also Minister for Aboriginal Affairs gives us a unique opportunity to work with you and try and push as hard as we can into a lot of the amazing leadership happening with our Aboriginal community and indeed with the Victorian Government. So, Minister, thank you so much for your time today. I hope you didn't mind me reading that poem. And I'll now hand to you to share with us some of your reflections.
Everyone, can I begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and pay my respects to their elders past, present and future. And in the spirit of reconciliation, I'm going to ask everyone here to take 2 big steps forward. Literally, because we're live streaming this and it looks like a room with just dozens of speakers at the front. But in fact, we've got lots of supporters here today from DELWP. So thank you for that. Can I also acknowledge the Secretary of DELWP, Adam Fennessy, for all of his hard work and leadership, and Terry Garwood as well. And can I congratulate the department on the fantastic plan, the action plan that was launched last year that has really ensured that DELWP is, I would say, the leading department across government in taking Aboriginal action very seriously in reconciliation in your everyday work. And of course, it's been mentioned about the water plan, and I'll go into a bit of detail around that, but our government's agenda around reconciliation and self-determination for Aboriginal Victorians is a very serious one that we made a commitment to coming into government, that we've got on with moving forward pretty quickly. And I'm really pleased that we have an interim treaty working group that is doing the power of work with the Victorian Aboriginal community to look at a long-term representative body across Victoria to represent Aboriginal Victorians, not only in treaty negotiations, but in implementing self-determination for Aboriginal people across the whole of government. And I think that that is something all Victorians can be proud of. Can I say to the people that are here and potentially watching in the region that in the near future we will be looking for treaty ambassadors, those people that are passionate and want to see a step forward in this way. And we know at the heart of self-determination and treaty, the real reasons behind the government's commitment on that is about ensuring that our Aboriginal Victorians really have a voice and a body to support them. And we know that this is an essential step in closing the gap. And it's something that we truly believe in delivering will see fantastic outcomes in time to come. Of course, we have the magnificent water plan that was launched last year, where there is an entire section dedicated to traditional owners and commits to the government supporting Aboriginal access to water for economic development. In my first few weeks as Minister for Aboriginal Affairs, I did quite an extensive tour of Victoria talking to traditional owners. At every single conversation I had, this issue came up around access to water. It's an extremely important issue to Aboriginal communities. And every single conversation that I had in those few weeks also ended with the word treaty and what were we doing about it. So it ties us together very nicely. I also just want to acknowledge the work done by DELWP in trialling traditional burns. I know that recently Jaja Wurrong people did some work around a traditional burn. That's now being assessed and going forward as a way of fuel reduction and keeping on top of, I guess, our local areas and making them safe. And I hope that that traditional burn process can be duplicated in the spring season and in years to come. So can I thank you all for the invitation here today and for your commitment in celebrating Reconciliation Week. a very important week. I've got to say, I had the most awesome weekend. Don't get to say that most Mondays, but I did. We had the rising of flags in a permanent capacity, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander flag at Federation Square on Saturday, with Gail Marbo in attendance, which was really amazing to hear her speak and to see her raise the Torres Strait flag in a permanent capacity in Fair Square. I did scratch my head a little bit and think, how is it that we built Federation Square without permanent flag there? But now in 2017 that's been rectified, and I just want to acknowledge the great work of Jonathan Tribe, who is the CEO there, who actually took the initiative to do that in permanent capacity. And also we had the fantastic long walk, the concert with that, and also the actual walk between Federation Square and the MCG, and to see so many young faces on that walk. There was around 20,000 people participating in taking the steps to reconciliation. Of course, there's a little bit of, footy passion there as well when it comes to Richmond versus Essendon, but certainly on the walk, there was just a real sense of Melbourne's pride on that walk that I thought was really fantastic. And yesterday I had the pleasure of attending the North Melbourne versus Carlton game, the reconciliation round, and I got to walk out as part of the Guard of Honour with our Aboriginal players. I'm a big North Melbourne fan. So, and to top it all off, I managed to have a jersey presented to me with the number 67, which signifies the 50th anniversary of the referendum. We had a really wonderful celebration in the Parliament last week around that event, and we heard from some Aboriginal elders, and in particular Uncle Butcher Edwards, who talked about what his life had been like for him as being part of the stolen generation. And I don't think there was a dry eye in the room by the time he finished his speech, just so passionate and so well articulating the issues of that referendum and also the Bringing Them Home report. There's so much to celebrate this year. As already Terry has said, the 20th anniversary of the Marbo decision, the handing down the reports that have come out, but also way forward. And last week, meeting in Uluru, and that amazing statement, and for anyone who hasn't read it, I strongly advise that you read it. It's not that long, but it is extremely powerful. Aboriginal leaders in this country saying, this is how we want to be recognised, and this is the way forward for us. And I think it's a very powerful read. So, in conclusion, can I say that I hope that I'm before you this time next year at Reconciliation Week, with a major step forward here in Victoria of having an Aboriginal representative body, either elected or in the processes of being elected, and taking that step forward in partnership with our Aboriginal community. Generations change. So enjoy today, and thank you.
Just a couple of reflections. Firstly, thank you, Adam, for your work. Very well, Adam. But I still want to acknowledge in the context of this event that Adam, you've been such a driving force for diversity and inclusion. An opportunity to come to talk more about that on another occasion. But please acknowledge and thank Adam. Well, I think you've just skated over the detail of the treaty conversations that have taken place. Those treaty conversations have been incredibly complex, difficult, sometimes angry, and you know what, the Minister, every time that's occurred, has led into the conversation and said, tell me more. Not go back, or don't take me to those again, why am I here, why am I being taken to those sorts of things? No, and tell me more. And so close to my Now, briefly, we're going to have some insight into our work with Mungan and Gadiba. So we're going to have Lee Myers, who's the Deputy Secretary, Torres Strait Regions, my good colleague, who will talk about some of the work and thinking in relation to the Aboriginal Inclusion Support Branch. Also, with friend Sharon McDonald, as well as Acting Assistant Chief Fire Officer for the Grampians region, and which will talk about some of the cultural burning programs as well. So thank you, Sharon, for coming along as well. And Madison Miller will talk about the work of the Aboriginal Staff Network, and they'll just have very brief presentations. Please welcome our three staff colleagues.
Thanks, Terry, and I too would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land in which we're meeting here today. And I'm very proud to be part of an organisation that recognises and respects Aboriginal people and culture. And we're really in an enviable position as a Victorian Government department to work with traditional owners and Aboriginal communities across the state to care for country. The Forest Fire and Regions Group, being DELWP's main connection to communities across Victoria, works in partnership with Aboriginal Victorians to improve participation across landscapes and communities. So whether it's creating opportunities for young Aboriginal Victorians to work on country, or through the reintroduction of traditional burning practices, which, Minister, I can assure you is now a permanent and important part of our fire management program, and which Sharon will talk to in a little more detail, or whether it's in land management planning and use, such as our current work with the Belfast Coastal Reserve, we're really committed to achieving change and driving improved outcomes and increased engagement with Aboriginal communities. So our work must be about fostering participation and inclusion to improve Aboriginal employment, cultural wellbeing and economic prosperity. And to support the Forest Fire and Regions Group and all of DELWP to achieve this and to meet our commitments in Mudgee and Gutterbar, I'm really pleased the senior executive team of DELWP has created the Aboriginal Inclusion Support Branch. So this branch, which will comprise a director and 6 staff members, will work right across DELWP to support successful implementation of Mudgee and Gutterbar and enable the delivery of programs that contribute, engage people and confident Victorian Aboriginal communities. We hope to announce the candidate for the director position in the coming weeks, so that we all and our communities benefit from the strategic leadership and advice that the Aboriginal Inclusion Support Branch will provide. And in closing, for me, reflecting, I spent a couple of weeks ago with traditional owners and Aboriginal people from across Victoria talking about traditional land burning or fire. And afterwards, the small group took me aside and they said a couple of things that have really stayed with me. They said, Lee, the work that you do is important. Following through on the commitments you've made is essential. And working with Aboriginal communities to heal country and to heal culture is critical. And I look forward to what we can all achieve together. Thank you.
Good morning. I'd also like to pay my respects to traditional owners of the land and communities in our future. I'd also like to extend recognition for being in this area that's extremely important to her as well. At the core of Mudgee and Gutterbar is a vision for the department to work in partnership with Victorian Aboriginal communities in achieving the shared goals. In recent months, we've seen tangible evidence of this through the reintroduction of traditional burning practices in parts of Victoria. Most notably, 2 burns that occurred with the Jajarang Aboriginal Land Corporation in the Melbourne and just Maryborough and Mount Raffles with Grampians Land Council with our Grampians team. Significantly, both burns from our traditional owner staff to both the initiation, strategy, the planning and the execution of them. This is a really important step in reintroducing something that's been absent in a structured way from the the Victorian landscape for the past 150 to 250 years. Core Fire Management Victoria's journey to incorporate traditional learning into the planned learning program starts from a commitment to genuine relationships and two-way learning. Traditional fire is just a tool. The elders teach us that it helps achieve a healthy country, which is profoundly linked to healthy communities and is central to Aboriginal spirituality and healing. We often talk about traditional fire knowledge being lost in Victoria and turned to other states for expertise and guidance. What we're seeing now, though, is that we have traditional owners staff. They are experts in fire. And through talking to their elders and monitoring the burning activities, we're beginning to rediscover that knowledge, which will be able to be passed down now through to future generations and shared across the Victorian landscape. We acknowledge that fire remains one of the fundamental tools and resources of Aboriginal culture. Fire has enabled people to shape the Australian landscape over many thousands of years. Or cool burning involves the regular application of low intensity fire to the landscape. It's quite different to some of the burning practices that we often see and use for fuel production purposes. There's cooler burns, there's slower burns, which is allowed to take their natural path. I was privileged to be at the Mount Rapley burn a few weeks ago, and it was interesting. We had campers sitting in their camp chairs just metres away from where the burn was happening, and they were quite unperturbed that fire practice was underway, and they're actually quite curious to see the flame leaping up through the trees, and the well contained and well managed practice. One of the most profound aspects of these recent burns has been the immense pride shown by our traditional owners staff and their skills in front of their elders, and the immense pride and emotion shown by all in seeing the return of these traditional practices to country. Traditional burning into our standard procedures is a driver of real change. If we're to succeed and ensure the community we serve is safer together, traditional burning must be incorporated into our program in a rigorous and systematic fashion. It extends from our strategic planning, our operational planning, and the monitoring of our burns. And importantly, the capability development of our traditional owner partners to ensure that they're fully equipped and able to actively participate and join with us in this practice. The traditional burning program was co-developed with traditional owners such as Jajaram is not about changing traditional owner practices, rather supporting safely their full incorporation in the existing environment and our planned learning program. The intrinsic part of fire management. We're at the early stages of this journey, but I'm really confident with the genuine leadership being shown by Scott Belknap and Rachel May, and the passion and commitment of our traditional owner staff, and the enthusiasm which is being embraced by our traditional owner partners. Of this path and will be significant advances in the coming months and years. Thank you.
Thank you. What a meeting, hi. So I'd just like to, I'm not here, but I'd like to thank Uncle Colin for his welcome to the country. Uncle Colin gave the first ceremony to our Aboriginal Staff Network earlier this year, and I was really privileged just to grow up on Wurundjeri land in the King Lake ranges. Really exciting hearing the work that they're doing about traditional burning, especially seeing kind of 8.5 years since the Black Saturday bushfires and how the bushes were generated there. More healing and cultural approaches to fire management. My name's Maddie Miller. I'm a Darug woman. My traditional lands are kind of northwest of Parramatta. Parramatta being a bastardization of Parramatta, which is a Darug word for the place of eagle. I'm an archaeologist at Heritage Victoria, and I'm also the chair of the Melbourne Government Network, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Network here at DELWP. At the last network meeting, we decided to change our name from the Aboriginal Staff Network, which is a very interesting name, the Managing Government Network. As you can see behind me, we've got beautiful banners, it means achieve together. And I think that's really the spirit of this staff network. The Melbourne Government Network is a place where Aboriginal staff can yarn up in a culturally based environment and check in with each other and, you know, talk about things that we're doing at work and the challenges we're facing, but also celebrate what we are achieving. Our Indigenous staff live here all across the state, you know, from Melbourne, Canberra, Skylar, and Mildura, and they always make the effort to come, and I'm really grateful for that. I think it shows the value of the network and the value that people place in it when they're driving 8 hours to come. It's pretty incredible. So we've had 3 meetings so far, and we've got one coming up in July, and we're trying to make sure that they're spaced out across the state. We've had 2 in Melbourne, which has been really successful, one in Ballarat. Our next one is in July, and I was going to invite Adam, so I don't think he's going to be here anymore. And Adam's really shown tremendous support to the network, and I just wanted to take time out to thank him. He even snuck into our story meeting at the start of the year and got to that. That was really special. It was sad to see him go. He's been a real champion for Aboriginal inclusion itself. So for everyone here, I think there's really simple ways in which you can support our Aboriginal staff network, and I think that's just making it a priority for Aboriginal staff that you manage or Aboriginal staff around you to be able to attend the network meetings, but also to be able to attend other cultural events. So, you know, this week is Reconciliation Week and Mental Week coming up in July. I think it's really important that we support staff to go to those. I think we touched on, the Minister touched on all the talks of treaty and recognition going on at the moment, the Uluru recently. It's a really interesting political time that we're in at the moment, and but also as public servants, it can be, it's an interesting duality, working for state government, but also potentially entering into treaty talks. And this is something that came up at the last Aboriginal staff meeting. So I think just supporting your Aboriginal staff is really critical. So this recent Reconciliation Week, I challenge you to one thing to support more, and this doesn't count. So if you could maybe attend a Reconciliation Week event next near you, take your kids to Windawaka, go to the Koori Heritage Trust at Fair Square, you can watch Clever Man, it's very good. Or perhaps to even support one of our Aboriginal staff here, Stephen Walsh, you could go to the State Library exhibition, which has a photographic display of Gippsland Elders, and see if you can include it in that. Maybe younger. Thanks very much.
Nothing left for me to say, colleagues. Would you please again thank Lee, Sharon and Maddie. Thank you. And on a personal note, through to your family, your friends, all of your broader networks, and to you personally, thank you for your commitment and support of reconciliation. It's much appreciated. Together, we're making a better country, as I said, or we've said in our inclusion plan, inclusion. Thank you for coming along.